Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 122, Top 5 Rom-Coms of the 2000s. So guys, in today's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, of course we've got my latest top 5 list being Top 5 Rom-Coms of the 2000s.
It's wedding season, kid!
And trust me, we've got some hilarious ones on deck, and these are like some of my favorite movies of all time. As many of us know, it's like tough to find a really good rom-com, because so many of them out there like are gonna fall short, or are gonna be like phony or unrealistic, and just like very corny, or even sometimes like wildly inappropriate. But it's all about having that good balance of humor with also like real genuine emotion. And so I believe like the movies I'm gonna be talking about definitely have that.
This is exactly why falling in love is so goddamn hard.
Following that, I'll be sharing a clip coming from Cole DaSilva, which is all about like why you need to be your weirdest, authentic, genuine self, and why you shouldn't feel like the need to explain yourself and like all the things that you like to do. For instance, if you're someone who loves blasting Justin Bieber, do it. Doing that actually makes you more fun, not some like dull, watered down version of like who you're quote unquote supposed to be. Following that, I have a post coming from one of my favorites, Vex King, where he talks about like why when it's taking longer to achieve the thing than you expected, you're actually building something that's built to last longer than you'd hoped initially. A very powerful message, and then like branching off of that, I'll be responding to an Andy Grammer post, where he posed the question, how do you keep going and like working on your goals when it seems like nothing is working out? So I of course have like a lot of experience with this, and so I'm going to be sharing some of my wisdom that's guided me along my journeys. And of course after that we have our sports recap, NBA playoffs talk, MLB news, and like whatever else I may come across. So anyways, without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, it must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links to purchase it are on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me, and make sure to check out all those some shirts in there as well. Every shirt has been designed by me. Every shirt is made of 100% organic cotton. So any support at all, as I'm always saying, would be very greatly appreciated. So let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole now. So in case you guys don't already know this about me, I'm a sucker for a good rom-com. But like, of course, a good rom-com is rare to find. And this is because I'm someone like who's looking for what's real. Something you can feel, the real emotions. And even if like you can't relate to the story, you can relate like to what the characters are feeling.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
And most rom-coms out there, as we know, are full of corny lines, silly or raunchy humor, and it gets to the point where so many of them just like miss the meaning. However, the other part to the rom-com is the comedy piece. So when it comes to judging a good rom-com, in this case at least, I have actually seen some good movies that are classified as rom-coms, but like aren't really that funny. So anyways, let's get into my top 5 list now. So coming in at number 5, I'm going with the movie 50 First Dates, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Adam Sandler in the movie, aka Henry, is like this marine expert and like explorer, but he isn't like committing to one girl. So he finds this girl Lucy, but like turns out she had a serious accident that left her brain damage, so she no longer has any short-term memory.
The condition has come to be known as Goldfield syndrome. Your condition is stable, but most likely permanent.
And so Henry does everything to help her out, even though like she has trouble remembering who he is. It's really sweet and funny at the same time. And then of course you have the final scene where everyone's on the boat and you hear the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow playing.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
Hey, good morning, Mrs. Roth. Would you like to meet your daughter?
That scene gets me every time. So there, of course, you've got the romantic part, but then, like, the funny scenes, you have the Asian guy who's hilarious. He tells Henry, like, he's gonna wipe his butt with his drawings.
Can I have that? I need something to wipe my ass with.
And then he also goes, were you staring at me or her? Because you're starting to freak me out. Or you also have Nick, the big Hawaiian guy, who makes bets with Henry on, like, whether or not he could get Lucy to fall in love with him on that day.
What does that mean?
This ain't a disco. She doesn't want guys hitting on her while she has her breakfast.
And you also have Rob Schneider, who gets beat up by Lucy in this like hilarious scene with a bat.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Hey, come here! No, I think he's had enough. Oh, I'm sorry.
A great movie and like super underrated one in my opinion. Number 4, I'm going with the movie Friends with Benefits, starring Justin Timberlake as Dylan Harper and Mila Kunis as Jamie Rellis. So you've got a guy and girl who become friends, and they want to see like if they could do that in the bedroom while also keeping the friendship alive too.
Two people should be able to have sex like they're playing tennis.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to go away for the weekend after they play tennis.
But also like both of them are damaged from past relationships, so they have a really nice friendship, but like sometimes it blurs the lines and like breaks through boundaries because of course they start to have feelings for each other. So this leads to some fighting, but like it also ends with a flash mob scene with the song Closing Time playing.
It's Closing Time by the band Semisonic. It's not Third Eye Blind.
An absolute classic scene. You've also got the funny scenes involving Shaun White, the snowboarder, as like he's trying to beat up Dylan.
Bull McTwist 1260. Oh, Jamie, you want to get this guy out of my face by break his skull?
And also like the flash mobs are pretty funny. And you also have Dylan thinking the song Closing Time is actually by Third Eye Blind. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Who knew that Third Eye Blind could be so prophetic? It's not Third Eye Blind. And there's a lot of fun banter and like back and forth chemistry between the two main characters. It's a movie that like you would think would lack meaning. And I'm not saying like it's perfectly morally sound, but it does have some deep feelings and like emotions involved. So I'm a huge fan of that. Number 3, I'm going with the movie She's the Man, starring Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum. Now let me just start by saying I think Amanda Bynes was actually one of the most talented actresses ever. And it's honestly really sad like what the whole industry did to her. And I hope like she's doing well, like and able to make a comeback at some point. Because of course she had like such a big impact on my life and like my childhood, and like I'm sure so many others out there too. And whether it was like Nickelodeon, like in all the shows she was on, or any of the movies she was in, she was fantastic. So I love this movie. It's about like a girl, Viola, played by Amanda Bynes, who wants to play soccer so bad, but like at her school the girls' team gets cut. So she decides to get a makeover and like transfer schools and act as her brother, Sebastian.
Wouldn't know the difference.
Well, no, he's a girl.
Oh, come on, Paul. Yeah, come on, Paul.
And the thing is, she's still learned how to act as a boy, so like that's hilarious. Once again, an amazing movie. I love it. And like you've also got Duke, who's played by Channing Tatum, who's one of the guys on the boys' soccer team. And he needs help like with getting a girl to like him, while Viola wants to be a starter on the soccer team. So like both of them help each other out.
I'll make you good enough to make first string.
Okay, yeah. You got a deal.
You're the man.
Yes, I am.
They do of course like run into a ton of issues. But I love like all of Amanda Bynes' mannerisms while she's like trying to act like her brother.
Call me anytime. I'd tap that.
And then of course you have like the carnival scene where she keeps changing outfits. You of course have like the restaurant scene with Sebastian's ex-girlfriend. The scene for what you really are, which is ugly. We're done.
And when my eyes are closed, I see you for what you truly are, which is ugly.
And you've also got like my favorite scene from the movie, where they're talking really deep, and then like Viola, playing a boy, says to him, "What does your heart say?" And then Duke responds, "What?" So then she like quickly flips it and goes, "I mean, which one would you rather see naked?"
What does your heart tell you?
Huh?
I mean, which one would you rather see naked?
So many classic scenes, like I can honestly make a whole video just like about these movies. But of course, after revealing Viola's true identity, the two of them fall in love. And the final scene is great too. Number 2, my second favorite rom-com, which of course leans towards the comedy side, but does actually have like some deep emotional scenes in it too. We have the movie Wedding Crashers, starring Owen Wilson as John Beckwith, and of course his right-hand man, Jeremy, who's played by Vince Vaughn. And you've got Isla Fisher as Gloria, who falls in love with Jeremy. You have Rachel McAdams as Claire, who falls in love with John. And you have Bradley Cooper as Sack, who's like the toxic boyfriend of Claire's initially. And you also have like Christopher Walken as the father. And you also have Will Ferrell, prime Will Ferrell, as Chaz. Now there are so many quotable lines from that movie that have me dying of laughter every time like I say them. But of course this movie is about like two best friends whose business for so long has been crashing weddings in order like to get girls to sleep with them. And so both of them like have to fake their identity to get into all these weddings.
Sanjay Collins.
Chuck Tenderloin, excited to be here.
Seamus O'Toole.
Bobby O'Shea.
I'm ready to get drunk.
So each of them starts off with like very shallow intentions, and everything changes when Owen Wilson falls for Claire. So of course you have like the whole rule book. Rule number 1, no excuses, play like a champion.
From the grave. She sends her best from the grave. Rule number 32, you don't commit to a relative unless you're absolutely positive they have a pulse.
You also have like the football scene when Jeremy keeps getting knocked over by a sack, and he goes, I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
Booyah! That's what we call a sack lunch.
When you were your age.
You also have like the scene where they're hunting quail and Sack shoots at Jeremy, and he screams out, I got me, I got me.
To the right! I got me!
And of course, the hilarious classic Will Ferrell scene as Chaz when he goes, Ma, the meatloaf, we want it now.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now!
He's of course the legendary wedding crasher Chaz, and yet he starts switching over to funerals to pick up girls. Damn you, Roger, damn it, damn you. And you also have like the holy, you also have like the holy shirts and pants scene.
What's this company called?
Shirts and pants. Holy shirts and pants.
There are also like a few silly, stupid scenes in that movie, like especially the ones with Todd, the brother. But in the midst of all the silliness, there are actually some really deep emotional scenes too. Especially the ones involving Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams. Such as like you have the beach scene, you have the scene like where he tells her how he really feels about her. I also love like the night scene when the song Sparks by Coldplay is playing and like each of them is like knocking on each other's doors. And of course the final scene where she finally goes for him and then Jeremy punches Sack. Share that one with the Dalai Lama. One of the funniest movies all time, period. And now coming in at number 1, my favorite rom-com movie of the 2000s is Hitch, starring Will Smith as Hitch, Alex Hitchens. Then you have Kevin James as Albert Brenneman. You have Sarah Milas, who's played by Eva Mendes. And so the chemistry between all the actors in this movie is flawless. And it's also like really funny because for all of us who know Kevin James from the series King of Queens, he's like super confident guy in that series. But like in this movie, he plays like a hopeless romantic. And so like he falls in love with like this celebrity girl, Allegra Cole, but he needs help.
So does she know you're interested?
Oh, no.
Alive?
I lent her my pen once.
Albert, you're crushing my heart.
Sorry about that.
So Hitch is the date doctor, but like something that he says like I really love is that his goal isn't to deceive or manipulate, but like his goal is to create opportunities.
My job is not to deceive, Miss Cole. It's to create opportunities.
One huge reason like why I can't stand so much of the modern dating advice that we see in social media or even like in most movies, it's like either the jerk wins or on the other hand, all the advice is about like becoming someone you're not and like faking it. But where this movie felt good and like authentic to me is that authenticity wins in the end. And Hitch comes to the realization like at the end of the movie, like all the rules that like he thought he needed weren't always necessary.
That was him.
That's got Albert written all over it.
But having said that, like he did help create opportunities for the guys to be noticed.
Sit down, Mr. No, you know what? I quit!
And I also like love it when he says, this is exactly why falling in love is so goddamn hard. Because girls and guys like are often getting in their own way and are dismissing others, the good ones, without giving them a chance.
To getting out of their own way. So great guys like Albert Brenneman have a fighting chance. This is exactly why falling in love is so goddamn hard.
And of course also like Hitch falls in love with Sarah Milas after initially she tried to expose him thinking like he was a scam artist who tricked women into getting guys to sleep with them. But also she and Hitch were initially skeptical of true love for themselves, but in the end like when it didn't make any sense to either of them why they were falling in love with each other, they did. The funniest scenes from this movie are of course when Hitch is trying to teach Albert how to dance, but Albert of course thinks he already has that covered. But of course he has like all these hilarious moves like the Q-tip, throw it away. You also like making the pizza, start the fire. And of course if that doesn't work, you hit him with this, shaking his butt.
Trust me.
Peace up.
Yeah.
A-Town down.
I'm gonna start the fire. But the feet are going. I make the pizza. If that's not working, you hit it with this.
And then afterwards, Hitch goes, does this even look like dancing to you? after that night. Then you've got the scene where Hitch is telling him to impress Maggie because like a girl's best friend has to like sign off on all like relationship aspects. Then you also have like the really negative guy Egon, who Albert calls Eggnog. He's like, what do you think of the design for the Jets' new football stadium? Let me guess, disgusting? Think it over.
What was your name, Eggnog?
Egon.
What do you think of the design of the Jets' new football stadium on the west side? Let me guess. Disgusting?
And you also have like the Hitch allergic reaction scene. And they're picking all the Benadryls off the shelf, and then Hitch goes, "Coquet Saint Jacques, death on a leaf."
Oh! Oh! Whoa! Can't kill Saint Jacques. Death on a leaf!
And you also have like the scene where he's teaching Albert how to kiss. One of my favorite movies, like I quote basically all the time, and I could probably quote like the whole movie, honestly. Anyways, I could talk about like all these movies for days. And I do have like some honorable mentions I can think of too. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on my list. What are your favorite rom-coms of the 2000s? Now next up, I want to share a clip coming from Cole DaSilva where he talks about like why you shouldn't have to explain the things that you like to do. Let's watch this one together.
If you like listening to Justin Bieber in your car with the windows rolled up, full blast, love that shit, bro. Just blast that shit, dance to it, fucking rock it. Don't let anybody talk you out of liking that thing. Too many people change who they are on a deep emotional level because they are afraid of someone else's opinion. So they don't wear what they want to wear. They don't dress how they want to dress. They don't act how they want to act. They don't speak how they want to speak. They don't listen to the music they want to listen to. Nothing. If I locked you in a compound for 1 month and you weren't allowed to interact with anyone, what would you do? You'd probably be dancing around in your fucking underwear with a goddamn cape on listening to Justin Bieber jumping off the roof or some weird shit, because I'd probably be doing that. And that's why I act like that, and most people should act like that and just be themselves. Life is way too fucking short to be so goddamn serious you're not yourself every day.
Love that. Very true. So I love this advice for so many reasons, but I think a lot of people out there become trapped in like societal expectations of like what they're supposed to do, and these people like end up limiting their fun and like dulling themselves down. They think to themselves like, oh, this is what people my age are supposed to do for fun. And I can't do those things. It's like for me personally, I'll tell you this right now. I love the TV shows iCarly and Victorious, and like I watch these shows all the time.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Gibby.
She doesn't speak English.
I'm still Gibby.
As I spoke about during the last segment, I'm also like a sucker for a good rom-com. You can judge me all you want, but like I really don't care. Also, I love jamming out with carpool karaoke every time I'm driving in the car. As anyone who really knows me knows. And as much as like I love rapping, I of course also love like many other different genres too. So I may bust out like Justin Bieber or even like One Direction. And like once again, I'm totally straight, 1000%. But it's just about like having fun and like living life to the fullest and like enjoying yourself.
Oh, you don't know you're beautiful. No!
It's things like this that keep me fun and youthful, and someone who I love to be around. And if you don't like me, I'm cool with that. I'm searching for the people who match my weird, not those that try to dull me or water me down. I've been around plenty of people my own age who think like these people are like 100 years old. They don't do anything active anymore. They don't play sports. They only watch crime shows. And hey, if that's your thing, I don't mean any offense. But as like one of my gym friends told me the other day, the way that like they know when I'm jokingly lying to them is because like that's basically the only time when I'm like super serious. And of course I do like plenty of deep, super serious conversations all the time. And I do value this a ton. But the point is like I've been through so much serious stuff in my life, going through a life-threatening illness, that I'm not going to dull my fun or dull my personality for anyone. I refuse to be like this unfun person because like other people my age chose to be like that. I'm 1000% a kid at heart and like I always will be, and I'm proud of this. And the most like serious and deep when that's called for too. And unfortunately, that's like a bridge that's too far for some people to cross. Some people, it's like you're either super serious all the time, or you're only joking all the time. But I think we need both sides to ourselves to be able to have like a truly deep, fulfilling life. And one that's like enjoyable for us. And this of course allows us to have happy, positive friendships and relationships too. So don't apologize for what you're into. Find people who match your weird, and bring out the best in you. Next up, we have a post coming from one of my favorites, Vex King. And this post is all about how if it's taking longer than you hoped to achieve that goal, it's being built to last longer than you imagined. Let's read this one together. So the first slide says once again, if it's taking longer than you hoped, it's because it's being built to last longer than you imagined. Then you have, you want answers now, movement now, certainty now, but existence has never rushed its masterpieces. Sunrises take their time, yet always arrive, seasons unfold in order, and many blessings appear only when you were ready to receive them. Then, the blessing is taking longer because what's coming needs more room to arrive. Then you have, delay doesn't mean denied. Sometimes the timing you're frustrated by is the very thing protecting what you're being prepared for. Then, don't confuse slow with stopped. The same universe that turns winter into spring may also be doing unseen work in your life. Not everything meaningful blooms on your schedule. Very well said, Vex King. And in the caption, he also goes on to say that, like, an oak tree doesn't apologize for how long it takes to grow. And also, like, the version of you that can hold what's being asked for is still being shaped. So, of course, I have a ton of experience myself with this whole waiting season on so many of my journeys. And I'm going through this right now, so like, I need reminders like this all the time. I've been making content for 5+ years now, barely made any money. I wrote a book and like sell t-shirts that have gotten some support, and like I am extremely appreciative and like grateful for all that support. But nowhere near like what I know and like what I believe this should be. I've also been on a healing journey from life-threatening illness since 2014. That's taken a ton of trial and error and like has required a ton of patience from me. I've also been on like a dunk journey since probably about like 2012 if I had to guess. So if anyone out there knows about like having patience when it comes to your big goals coming to fruition, it's me. But I'm also always reminding myself and others that I'm building something special. Great things take time. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm not building like some flimsy success that's going to crumble as soon as the numbers start to go away, or as soon as like my viral moment is up. But all of my journeys are built on authenticity, genuine hard work, and are being pulled by like a much greater force than you can imagine. So if you feel anything like me, like your efforts aren't being appreciated, and you haven't gotten those rewards yet, remember like that you're chopping away at this massive block of wood, and you don't see any visible cracks in the wood until it breaks. But it's not going to happen overnight. And it's tough, of course, living in a world that celebrates like the quick successes and the viral sensations. We're seeing this all the time, and yet you and I are like wondering, when is it going to be our turn? But our time is coming. I believe in this so strongly. We just can't quit and like have to persist through these tough moments. And when it feels like all hope is lost, remind ourselves of why we started and like remind ourselves of our mission behind all this. And remember that like you can't defeat the person who won't quit. And now branching off of this idea of having patience when it feels like nothing is working out, I would like to answer this Andy Grammer clip, so let's check this one out now.
How do you show up for your goals when it's not working or you're in a rough patch? What do you use specifically to push through those moments?
So shout out to Andy, one of my favorite artists and like huge inspiration of mine. And he's also going to be part of my answer. So anyways, to answer this question, how do you show up for your goals when it feels like nothing's working out or you're going through like a rough patch? So once again, just to reiterate, I've been making content for 5+ years, barely made any money. I wrote a book and like sell t-shirts that have gotten some support, and like I really do appreciate all that support, but like nowhere near where they should be, nowhere near it. I've been on a healing journey from life-threatening illness since 2014. That's taken a ton of trial and error and like has required a ton of patience from me. And it's not always easy. It's actually the hardest thing I've ever gone through, of course. I've also been on like a dunk journey since probably around like 2012. So if anyone out there knows about patience, once again, it's me. So there's a few things like I like to do whenever I'm feeling impatient and like I'm upset with where I'm at, and I see how far I still have to go. So first up, I remind myself of my mission and how far I've already come, even though like, it doesn't feel like it in that moment. I've overcame battles that no one else saw. I've cried in the dark when no one else saw. And yet I kept going, kept on producing my content, kept on working out in the gym, kept my belief in myself alive, and especially in my case, had to cheat death just to like even be here right now. So I already have like a very strong foundation in place. And then as I made like a video about recently on the Jared and James channel, it's about being loyal to the mission over the numbers. Because when you're loyal to the mission, you understand like it can take any amount of time to get there. But when you only produce like when everything's going well and like whenever you have good numbers, you're never going to get anywhere that way. It's not going to be sustainable. Then I also like to remind myself of some like powerful metaphors, such as like the story of the bamboo tree, and how it takes 5 years of no growth, or on the other hand, like no visible growth, when the tree is like building its foundation and like building its roots underground. And then over the span of like just a few weeks, this tree sprouts up into like this massive, beautiful thing. And then also similarly, you also have like the Stonecutter's Credo, which reads something like, "You may hammer away at a stone 100 times without seeing like so much as a single crack in it. And then at the 101st blow, the stone shatters. But it's actually because of all the cracks that came before it." And finally, I'm dead serious about this one. I'm not just like gassing Andy Grammer up. But like, I listen to so much motivational music and like motivational songs whenever I'm down, starting with Andy Grammer. Especially the song and story of "Keep Your Head Up." But you gotta keep your head up. Oh, you need to let your head down. Hey. And then of course, "Only rainbows after rain, the sun will always come again, and it's a circle, circling." You also have the song "Still Smiling." You have Lisa's song, aka "Not the End." "It's just a chapter in your story. Turn that page and grab that pen. 'Cause darling, everything will be alright, and if it's not alright, then it's not the end." And so like I'll sing these and like I'll listen to them non-stop whenever I need them, because this is like exactly what I need to keep me going and like get me back on track. And so Andy, if you're watching or listening to this, please don't stop making your music. I love it, and like all of us need it too. Anyways, now let's get into this week's sports recap. Let's go now. So let's start things off with Lakers Thunder. Last night's loss hurt, not gonna lie. As a Lakers fan, they had the game, should have won it honestly. And also, like, for the third straight game, the Lakers actually had a lead in the second half. So this one in particular felt like a great effort from the Lakers all around. I have no clue why Rui Hachimura was on the floor then for that last shot. And honestly, the Lakers had their moments in the series overall. So like, credit to JJ Redick, credit to LeBron James, of course. It was not like an all-out beating in spite of like the 4-0 series score. And also, let me just say, like, that go-ahead bucket by Chet was definitely a travel or a 3-second violation. One way or the other, but like, of course the Lakers got screwed over by the refs once again. Shocker, I know. And also one more thing, I don't like the Thunder. OKC is definitely a great team who does a ton of nonsense that like they don't need to. Because of course the overall depth of OKC is incredible. Everyone on that team plays their role to perfection. But anyways, as for the Lakers, I thought like LeBron James gave it his all. He played incredible, I thought. Like, for most of the series, like, and in the closeout game, he had 24, 3, and 12. He was giving it all he had, and, like, it was definitely a lot of fun watching him as the number one option once again. Austin Reeves, I thought, like, did a lot of good on offense. And, of course, like, he was still playing through an injury. But it was, like, as soon as he started figuring out OKC's defense, and, like, every time, like, he was attacking downhill, he looked incredible. But it was, like, those lazy passes again and again. They're never going to work and like will always get you into trouble against OKC. OKC feasts off those. Rui Hachimura, like I thought, was incredible for the whole series. His shooting is unreal. He's just like automatic at this point. Marcus Smart's defense throughout the series I thought like was great too. I mean, if I'm looking for positive takeaways, his defense on Shea and like his overall energy in the series was incredible. Of course, like his offense struggled a little bit, but like that's of course to be expected when he's taking SGA full court every game. Now, I also thought, like, especially in Game 4, Jackson Hayes was actually giving a way better effort than Aiden. I mean, like, if you're DeAndre Aiden, even if, like, you're missing shots, I'm actually okay with that, like, as long as you're giving an effort, like, and getting rebounds. But, like, when he's getting out-rebounded every single game, it just became, like, frustrating to watch for such a talented player. But, of course, because this team was Thunder's defense, like, everywhere, and, like, at every single position, and, of course, third quarters for most of the series, outside of Game 4, were horrendous for the Lakers. All those turnovers just like added up and piled up. And it's just like it comes down to OKC's depth is going to wear you out as time goes on. Now, of course, looking back, because hindsight is always 20/20, I did think like Jackson Hayes actually gave the Lakers a much better look at center than Aiden once again. I'm not sure if like Hayes is just like a better matchup going against like OKC's bigs. And once again, I know like everyone out there loves to hate on Aiden, but I see him as like a player who gets in his head too much. He's super talented, but like sometimes he just like lacks the effort and like focus, and like as soon as he starts getting outplayed, it's just like over for him. He just like shuts down. And once again, I'm not even like asking him like to score 20 every game, but like don't get out rebounded every single night. Box out, put a body on him, and like get physical. Especially going against like Chet Holmgren, you probably outweigh him by like 20, 30, 50 pounds maybe even. Show some fight and like don't just simply tap the ball out every time. Grab it. Once again, the Lakers' lazy passes killed them in the series. Every single third quarter, that was just like tough to watch. And like with this series as a whole, it wasn't like SGA who was doing most of the work. It was actually Jared McCain coming off the bench. He was scoring at will. Then you also like AJ Mitchell doing his thing, putting up multiple 20+ point games. And on top of that, like Hardenstein was like crushing the Lakers bigs too. So a frustrating series. Of course, I can't stand the whistle like the OKC gets, and like I just like don't like all of OKC's antics. But the Lakers did have like a really good season, I thought. Tough to see it end, and like we're gonna see like where LeBron ends up next year. Now moving ahead in the other Western Conference series, we have the Timberwolves going up against the Spurs. Now this series is like super interesting because like both teams have been so physical and like it could go either way. Of course, the other night we saw Wemby, who's typically so calm, he just like lost his cool. And then Anthony Edwards took over in a game where he was playing on like 2 bad knees. He scores 36. He's so talented, and like he could be the face of the NBA if he wanted to. But having said that, like I do actually appreciate like all of his authenticity. And Terry's just like totally himself out there. Rudy Gobert like has still been having his big impact on both ends. Dylan Harper's gonna be so good for the Spurs. He came off the bench and like had another massive scoring game the other night. But I'm not sure like where the series is gonna end up. I'd be shocked if it doesn't go 7. And like I said before the series started, the Wolves have like the physicality and like the experience, but like the Spurs have Wemby, who just changes everything up in the paint. And like as soon as he starts hitting outside shots, you can't stop them. The Spurs also like do some other shot makers like Champagny, Vassell. But I think a lot of the series is gonna come down to like how good De'Aaron Fox could be. Well, on the other end, like I think the Wolves' X factor is Julius Randle, like and how dominant he could be. If he's scoring and like putting up a double-double, I think the Wolves like are super tough to beat. Now, of course, the Knicks swept the 76ers in like a shocking result, like I would say. Now, of course, I knew that like the Knicks were good coming into this playoffs, but like over the past 7 games, it seems like unlocked a new level. As all of us know, so much of the playoffs is coming down to like who's hot and like who has the momentum. But the Knicks have actually gotten hot in the playoffs. Ever since like the start of that Hawks series, it seems just like turned it up. Cat in this playoffs like unlocked a new level in his own game, as he's averaging 8 assists a game, to go along with 16 points and 10 rebounds. Now he's never been like known for his passing ability, but like he's been turning that up. Brunson has gone back to doing like what he does best, which is putting the ball in the basket, as like he has multiple 30+ point games. And he's doing it from 3 as well as like driving to the rim too. He's getting like whatever he wants. Then when OG went down, it should have been like advantage 76ers, but Bridges stepped it up, and also like Miles McBride had like a massive game. He had 25 points and like 7 threes in that closeout game. And the Knicks took down Embiid and Paul George and like Maxey with no issues at all. And this is like coming off a series where the Sixers took out the Celtics. And honestly, right now with no Celtics left in the East, I think it like has to be advantage Knicks. Especially because of like their consistency and like scoring on all levels. And this team also like, has the weapons to do it on defense too. I mean, even like taking aside Brunson and Cat, who aren't the best defenders, you still have like Mitchell Robinson, you have Bridges, and like hopefully Anunoby comes back healthy. Now let's take a look at the other series in the East, Pistons Cavs, which of course get tied up at 2 apiece. After the Pistons got off like to a hot start in that series, going up 2-0. But in game 4, that third quarter was crazy coming from Donovan Mitchell. So the Cavs were actually down by 4 at half and then like go on a 22-0 run. And Donovan Mitchell set like a playoff record with 39 points in the second half alone. When he gets hot, he can't be stopped. He just like gets to his spots and like scores on everyone. His dribble moves are like crazy. And of course, James Harden took that criticism from those first 2 games and like turned it around in this series. He's been like way better at home. And this is why like I can't stand the whole hot take sports culture, where it's like one day you suck, the next day you're good again. How about sports aren't perfect? Nobody plays like an incredible game every single night. Everyone's gonna have like their off games. It doesn't mean like you're washed or that you suck or like this is your legacy. And of course the sports media did like the same exact thing with Austin Reeves. suddenly he's no good, then like he's good again, and like he sucks again. Anyways, I digress. Harden was like incredible the past 2 nights, especially in that fourth quarter. Early in that series, like I thought the Pistons D was like frustrating him and like picking up early. But Harden started to like find his 3 once again. He started to find like his step back, his drives like he's been putting up that floater. And of course, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen like have looked better at home too. They've definitely caused like problems for Jalen Duren, who hasn't looked like the same as like how he did during the regular season, unfortunately. My guy Tobias Harris had like another amazing first half. It's like he went for 14-9 in that first half. But the second half catered like a bunch of turnovers. And this team just like lost their rhythm and like the crowd got involved. And before you knew it, this game was like out of reach. Karis LeVert and Paul Reed actually played like really well off the bench for the Pistons, but like that series is now tied up at 2 apiece. Anything could happen. Now heading over into the baseball world, the Yankees unfortunately have lost 4 in a row. Now I'm not like panicking yet, especially because like 3 of those games were actually really close. But the Yankees are still 26-16. I think it's all just like part of the ebbs and flows of the season. Having said that, Ben Rice came back, and like he picks up right where he left off with another home run. And Aaron Judge and Ben Rice right now become the fastest Yankees duo to reach 13 plus home runs in a season. That's an exciting fact. Cam Schlittler has been looking like Cy Young as he's 5-1 with a 1.35 ERA and a .81 WHIP. He's also like on my fantasy team, even though my fantasy team hasn't looked too good so far. And speaking of which, Kyle Raleigh is currently 0 for his last 34. It hasn't been looking too good for the guy who hit 60 home runs last season. Hopefully he picks it up. Christopher Sanchez, a pitcher on the Phillies, in his last 2 starts, 15 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts, no earned runs. Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners in the month of May, with a 3.42 average and like 5 home runs in that month so far. Jonathan Arenado in his last 19 games, 3.55 average, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs. Like he's actually currently in the lead in the AL with 32 RBIs, playing for the Rays, of course. Jacob deGrom the other night, he had his first 7+ shutout innings with 10+ strikeouts since June 5th, 2021, and his ERA is currently at like 2.52. He's still like one of the best pitchers in baseball. And one final note, at the time of filming, the home run race like is actually looking really good. So like there's currently 6 players who are on pace for 50+ home runs. Now like I'm not sure like how these guys figured this out, but at the moment Byron Buxton on the Twins, who's been so hot recently, is on pace for 53. Yordan Alvarez, the current MVP candidate for the Astros, is on pace for 53. Matt Olson, like who's been great for the Braves, is on pace for 53. Kyle Schwarber's been like scorching with his bat, is on pace for 57. Aaron Judge has been like doing what Aaron Judge does best, which is clobber the ball, is on pace for 61. And Munetaka Murakami, the rookie, is on pace for 62. It's going to be like an exciting finish for this year's home run race. Are we going to have like another 2 guys get 60? We'll have to see about that. Anyways, that's your sports recap for the week. Let's get back to finish the video now. Anyways, that's the video. If you guys enjoyed what you heard, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Catch you next time. Peace.